first time reading. My name is Teresina Jackson. I am the self-published author of my own autobiography, The Code of Silence, Dirty Little Family Secrets. I am originally from Pasadena, but my mom is from Saginaw. We moved here when I was 2, so but I still like to say I'm from California. I wrote this book because one in 4 Black girls will be sexually molested by the age of 18. I speak for the voiceless, not to tell their story, but to tell mine. And in doing so, I encourage you to tell yours. Some people simply need a little inspiration to stand up and be heard. So I'm going to read. Oh, okay. Am I too quiet?
Yeah.
You're quiet.
Really?
Yeah.
So in other environments, people are always like, "You're so loud."
Loud.
Right, maybe it's the environment. So. Okay. Right. My mother's trauma gave birth to me. Much of your pain is self-chosen. It is a bitter potion by which the physician within you heals your sick self. Khalil Gibran. Part 1. Reflection. The day was beautiful, as it always is during this time of year. It was in a splendid mood, and I felt it from the inside out. And because I was in such a great place, both mentally and emotionally, I wanted my attire to mirror what I was feeling. But before I could get dressed, I had to get my 3-year-old son ready first. This book is like 3 years old. I held her for a long time. It's a rock and a hard place to tell your story in a small town. So, I poured the same energy I felt for myself into my little man's appearance. I gave him a bath, washed his head full of dark curly hair, rubbed his tiny body with lotion, and then I covered his miniature frame with a neatly ironed short set, a new pair of sneakers on his feet. My little man was looking so handsome that I had to kiss his fat cheeks. I did, and he laughed. The sound of his laughter only heightened the excitement that was already intense, for as I said, I was feeling especially good that day. My son is dressed, and now it is my turn. I sat him down in front of the television to let his favorite show babysit him while I got myself together. I had picked out this nice white linen summer dress that fell upon my frame like God had made it himself just for me. And why not? I was feeling like a goddess anyway, so it makes sense that my chosen apparel would leave me looking like a diamond grape hanging on a leather vine. I approached the mirror to make sure everything is in place, and it is. Time to go. I gathered my son out the door. We went. Now one would think that I was going on a date or something, which to them would explain my elation. They would only be half right. I was going on a date, but it was not with a new love interest. It was with my little man, my son. We were going to the park to get some air and let the sun shine upon our face for a few hours. One may also be asking themselves, why am I so happy? Well, for the first time in many years, I feel good about myself and the life that I am living. I have this feeling of finally being liberated from every vice that ate at my soul for what seemed like an eternity. Now, after years of working on myself, I can say that I am happy and I am free. I woke up this morning and said, I am taking my son to the park and we are going to enjoy this beautiful sunny day. We arrived at the park. As I exited my vehicle, I did a quick once-over of the activity taking place and got an eyeful of what looked like not to have a care in the world. I think for the first time I finally realized how much I had missed having been out of touch for so long. But it did not make me sad. On the contrary, it made me glad. I was glad to still be alive to experience what I can only describe as sanity. With a smile on my skillfully made up face, I moved to get my son out of his car seat. We then proceeded up the paved walkway into the park to find a bench. I'm paying close attention to what is going on around me. Other parents are there with their children. Laughter beats like a kick drum in my ear. Couples are talking and walking hand in hand. Love is permeating the air. The atmosphere is potent with the subtle yet still felt electricity. Yes, today is good. I took my seat on the bench and Malik, my son, took off toward the slide with the other children. I yelled, telling him to be careful. At that time, my phone rang. I saw who it was and I neglected to answer. I had no time for gossip. I'm too busy enjoying the brand new me. Note to self, block this person's number. A soft, gentle breeze is blowing in my face. I sat back on the bench and crossed my legs. I am feeling like the world is my oyster and it is filled with a priceless pearl, namely me. It was at this time in my real life reverie that my attention was arrested by an all too familiar sound. It was like a needle being dragged across a record that was playing my favorite Lauryn Hill song. I was immediately irritated by the interruption that took place to the left of me. I quickly turned my head as if I had been startled. Actually, I was. I saw a parent spanking her child, a little girl. Now, the mother was not violently beating the child, but nevertheless, her cries sounded like she was being tortured. Her cries sent an alpine chill down my spine that radiated off the walls of my mind like an empty warehouse. I was stuck, momentarily frozen in time. I was stuck, momentarily frozen in time as time took me back to a place I would rather not remember. But it was too late. The trigger had been pulled and my memory activated back to a chapter of my life that was nothing short of a horror movie where everybody was Jason or Michael Myers. A place where I was either running from or running to these monsters who were ripping at my flesh, my mind, the very soul of me. And it always seemed that I could never get away. I could never escape the inevitable. Did I even want to? The scariest part about that time was not knowing what was to become of me.